Hi, my name is Jay. I wanted to talk about my experience with Art Fight as sort of like a more casual art fighter. You know, over the course of the last year or so, maybe the last 2 years, I've noticed that a lot of people are sort of taking Art Fight really seriously. And I think that that's wonderful. I think that if that is how you find fun in Art Fight, then absolutely go for it. And this video really isn't for you. I mean, if you want to watch it, you're totally fine to watch it. But like, this video isn't for you. Like, this video is for the people who are like, oh God, like, I want to join Art Fight, but it seems like a really, really high barrier of like work, or like maybe I don't have the time. I have a job that like requires a lot of my time, and I just don't have the time to like put into all of this like crazy learning HTML and, doing a million attacks and min-maxing. Or like maybe you're just like a new artist and you're intimidated by Art Fight. And I totally get that, because there's all of these videos about like, here's tips for Art Fight. And I know all of them say like, the important part is to have fun. The important part is to like enjoy yourself. That's what Art Fight is about. But I think that there's a side missing of the casual art fighters. So here I am, and I'm going to talk about my Art Fight profile and how I've managed my Art Fight over the past 9 years of being an Art Fight. So we're going to start with my profile here. So I joined Art Fight on the 27th of July in 2017, which if you know anything about Art Fight, that is 3 days before the event ends. If you're watching this and it is July 27th, or hell, if you're watching this and it is August 1st and it is 10 a.m. and you've got 2 hours to do one attack and you're like, man, I shouldn't join this year. I guess I'll just join next year. You have no excuse. I joined 3 days before the event ended, and I managed to do 2 attacks in that time, and I got attacked twice. So like, really, there is no reason to wait to join Art Fight until next year if you're like quote unquote late. You can be as late as you want, and like, you're still going to be able to participate in Art Fight, and you get the cute little, thing on your Art Fight profile that's like, oh, I participated this year. So yeah, like, if you feel like it's too late to join Art Fight, no, it's not. Even if even if Art Fight's over and you're like, you know what, I'll just join next year. I'll set it up next year. I don't have to sign up right now. I would say sign up as soon as you can. That way you can get your, character list started a little early, and you're not rushing to do it next year. And then you're like, oh no, it's July 1st and I am not ready, so I'll just start the next year. It's like, there's no reason to do that. So here's my profile. It's pretty bare bones. As you can see, I don't know HTML. I don't plan on learning HTML anytime soon. I'm sure that I could probably get like a friend or something that knows HTML to like help me out with this, but it's not necessary and I don't really need to do it, so I'm not going to yet. Anyway, I plan on judging it up at some point, but this is serviceable. This is totally fine. Even if it was just that, this is fine. There is nothing about how you need to have anything else other than just like, hey, hell, you could go without a bio. You don't have to have one. You don't have to have anything on your profile. So, I have all my years here, and I have the versions of like if the team won that year, which I think is really cute. You can see that there's some gaps here. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, and then I have my card. And a card, you do not have to like make a whole new illustration. I just happen to think it would be really cute to draw my little Sona as a jester to like match the theme. But that is completely optional. Like, you don't have to do anything special for your card. All you need is the version of the card that they have. I think that there are other places you can find it, but I found it on their Tumblr. And it's a transparent image. So all of these spots here, and then this circle here, is completely transparent, and you just fill it in with your current profile picture and then some of the drawings of your characters. And if you only have one character, that's totally fine. You can have one character as your featured character. In fact, it'd be really, really funny. It'd be so funny if somebody did this and had only one OC and then just drew a bunch of little sketches of that OC in here. That'd be so cute. Oh, please, somebody do that. Somebody do that, please. Okay, anyway. And then you just like fill out, what kind of characters you have. I know people like to circle them. I don't. So this year I just kind of blotted them out. these are the ones I have. There's also the other section here. I put superheroes, D&D, and Fae, not because like they're like different than like all my superheroes I think are human. Superheroes I feel like it's just like its own category because it's like a type of character. Like if you had vampires, you know, vampires could count as monsters, but like you specifically have vampires, so you put vampires. Or like anything that doesn't fit any of these as well. This is completely optional. I did several years not using the card system. Again, you don't need any of this, but if you're wanting a profile that like sort of says something about you, you know, like gives some information, looks a little nicer than just sort of like nothing, this is sort of like, you know, this is a really easy way to make a profile that looks like nice and also is really easy and doesn't require any extra drawing. Like these could just be all drawings that you have, and then just like, you know, a little statement about yourself. And obviously all the years that you participated in, including the year that, you know, we're doing now. So you have your character tab. All you need in the character permissions is here's what I'm okay with, here's what I'm not. That's it. As far as characters themselves, I think that there is a push for people to, you know, have full character turnarounds, character reference sheets. And as much as I love those and I love reference sheets, they're not really necessary. I have almost all of these do not have a like quote unquote reference sheet. The only reference sheet I have is my Sona. And I made this year. This like literally I made this for myself and then was like, oh, cool, perfect. I can just put it up on my Artfight. I've had this character up here for several years. And for a while it was just this image, and this image. Obviously I did a little bit of a redesign in between, but this was enough for people to do attacks. Like you can see the colors clearly, you can see, you know, the way that the character looks, and you know, people are going to be able to fill in the blanks usually. If you want a character reference sheet, totally go for it, but it isn't like gospel. You don't have to have it. As far as art quality goes, I've been drawing for a very, very long time. So I have archived characters that have a bunch of old art, but the characters that I've archived wasn't really because the art was old or quote unquote bad. It was honestly because those characters, the art doesn't really represent them the way that I see them anymore. So I have to update them. But if you take, you know, my character Antoinette, for example, this is a much older sketch of Antoinette, and doesn't really reflect my style completely now. It's still, you know, reminiscent of my style. You know, my style was built from this, but it's not one-to-one with my newer stuff. Eventually I could, you know, redo this character and make a whole sheet and like do it in my like newest art style. But I'm comfortable with leaving her up like this because this gets her character across. See her color scheme, you see her personality, you see, you know, what you need to see in order to make a drawing of her. And so I just leave it up. I keep talking right after a sentence, and then I have a feeling it's going to be hard to actually edit. We'll see. Haha. Hopefully you don't suffer, future Jay. Okay. Really the only thing you need to be worried about when it comes to like what reference you have of your character up is, can you see at least half of the body, and are the colors easy to look at and easy to color pick from? You know, just a flat color, maybe a little bit of like gradient here. But you're able to see all of these colors clearly. You're able to see the full character clearly, the body type, and that is helpful for anybody who's going to be drawing your character. So that's all that's really required. And even though I say required, I have seen people put up characters that are just sketches. Like you don't have to have a colored illustration in order to have a character up. Just know that if you don't have colors for people to use, they're most likely not going to put colors in their attacks of your character. Some of my references for my characters are actually very sketchy. Not as clean as some of my other ones. Like I do have a cleaner version of her here, and I have an even cleaner version of her here, but you don't need to have every single one of your character designs be completely clear and clean in order for them to go up on Artfight, and even in order for people to want to attack them. So yeah, I mean, the barrier of entry is a lot lower than a lot of people realize. You really only need like one character to put up on Artfight in order to start Artfight or get attacks. You don't even actually have to put a character up to attack other people's characters. So even if you're like, oh, I don't have OCs, like what would I do on Artfight? You could just like go and find other people's characters and draw them for fun. You know, like that's totally an option. Moving over to attacks, you can see here that like I have all my attacks of all the different characters that I have, you know, drawn for people. I would say I average maybe 5 attacks a year, but obviously it varies. Last year I did 7, and then the year before that I actually didn't do any. I didn't participate that year. And then the year before that I did 3, and then so on and so forth. You sort of like see different years I do less or more. This year I kind of want to do at least 10. That would be so amazing because I think my second year I did 13 different attacks. And I think that's mostly because I allowed myself to do less, you know, finished attacks, busts and unshaded things more than I have, you know, in the last few years. The last few years I have really kind of pushed myself to do like full character illustrations. Not all of them, you know, not every single attack of yours needs to be the same quality. No one's going to get mad at you for drawing their character with less, you know, detail if you did this for somebody else. And if they do, that's their problem, not yours. I'm not going to go over defenses just because I don't have permission from any of these artists to show their artwork in my video. If you're interested in any of these characters, please come and check them out. And like, if you'd like to attack them, you can like find any single one of these artists and these characters within the attack info. So I'm the one who made it. This is the person who owns her. And then this is the character. The thing I think most people don't really realize about Artfight is while it's framed as a competition, and you know, it is a competition, there's points and there's a winner, the competition aspect of Artfight is actually just an incentive to help people participate. Artfight as a event is about gifting art to other people of their OCs. It is about sharing your art with somebody else. The actual point system doesn't really matter in the individual experience of somebody on Artfight. The individual experience of somebody on Artfight is completely up to that person. If that person's going to like draw characters that they find fun and make fun out of this event, then they're going to have fun with the event. Anybody who tells you that Artfight has a barrier skill level entry, or that it's about winning, or that you have to be trying as hard as possible to get as many points or as many attacks as possible, they're missing the point of Artfight. So if you're feeling, you know, stressed about joining, if you're worried that maybe you're not good enough, or maybe you don't have enough time, or again, if you're seeing this on the 27th of July, just remember what I told you about my Artfight experience and know that I really enjoy it. This is something that I like to do during the years that I have available to participate. And that is coming from somebody who has not put a ton of effort and a ton of time into making sure my profile is perfect, or into making sure I have character references for every single character, or even putting the same amount of effort and time into every single attack. I personally have never run into anybody negative on this site, and I don't think it's because I'm lucky or because I'm, you know, better than anybody else. I think it's really just because like the amount of people who are actually, you know, being jerks on this website is less than you think it is. And even if you do run into somebody who's being a jerk, Artfight has a blocking function and it works really well. Artfight also has a report function. So if anything that you receive violates terms of service, which you can find up in the help section in frequently asked questions and rules, you can report that person, whether it's a comment or an attack or anything like that. And the mod team will handle it for you. What I wouldn't recommend is feeding into it. I wouldn't comment back. I wouldn't try to fight somebody about it. I would literally just either block and move on, or if you know what violates terms of service, bring it to a mod's attention. That way you get to continue having the best time with Artfight rather than making it some sort of drama that you have to be a part of. Remember, your enjoyment of Artfight is up to you. If you're feeling stressed out, if this is just a very scary place to be entering in, if you feel like maybe, you know, you have some sort of reason that you can't join or that people wouldn't want you here, I'm telling you this right now, I want you here. So if you see this video and you join Artfight for the first time, or maybe for the first time in a while, like maybe you stopped doing it and you decided to join again, you know, please let me know. Let me know in the comments of this video, or hey, like, my attacks are open. There's a little section for private messages when you submit an attack. And if you'd like to, you can let me know, like, hey, like, I saw your video and, you know, I'd love to do revenges on people who, you know, felt impacted by anything that I said today. I know this is a silly little video. I know this isn't like super high quality or super edited, but I just really wanted to share my opinions on this because I know Artfight's coming up really fast and I know people are getting really stressed out about it. And I'm just here to tell you, you do not have to be that stressed about it, babe. You can just have fun. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you join Artfight this year and just have a good fight.